Hello, Philip here, coming to you from my wife's tea tree house in northern Thailand in the Chiang Mai province. Now I'd like to say a word or two about humanity's calamity, which openly arrived in 2020, early on in 2020. The whole world went mad, but there's, that we were reaping what we'd sowed. So I'd like to talk about the humanity's calamity, the problems that individual humans face, and my vision and solution for each individual human to overcome those problems. So 2020 was a shocking time for many, and continues to prove a hard time for everybody. In my view, it's the transition time from the industrial age into the information age. And because we're in a transition time, it's rather like a ship, if you like, sort of going round the bottom of India from the Indian Ocean into the African Ocean, is there such a thing? Or round the bottom of Africa. We're in turbulent waters as we come out of one age and into the other age. There's so much human suffering, even amongst the wealthier nations. Now, I accidentally emigrated to Thailand in 1991 and accidentally found my vocation in life, which was being a teacher. But not a normal teacher. My kind of teaching is to make learning happen. So my focus is always on the students and helping them improve themselves, empower themselves, become skilled in the skills that I'm going to talk about. So in the 90s, I would go back for trips back to England to see family and friends, and suddenly now, because I'm living in Bangkok and Thailand, a completely different culture, I'm observing and noticing how life works here compared to back home in England. Very different. In Thailand, where people had much less money, much less material wealth, and often not much of a home, many more smiles, a lot more laughter, lots of fun. Sanuk is a Thai word meaning having fun, and sabai sabai means being relaxed with no problems to affect your mind. So these are cultural imperatives and things that Thai people actively seek. But back home in the richer country, many problems. So I began to question what these problems were, and it didn't seem necessary. I thought a problem was if you didn't get enough food to feed yourself and if you didn't have a house, a home. So these were the beginnings of my questioning about everything. Meanwhile, I'm learning how to teach, and I'm constantly learning and improving my craft and my skills. But what I discovered was that there was many people, and let's just say the Western people, but so many people were below the surface. They were putting on a brave front, but people were unhappy, lonely, full of envies and dislikes and blame and all kinds of things. So and then there's the self-doubt, and people don't feel worthy, and they lack self-esteem, they lack self-confidence. So, all in all, people were struggling psychologically, and bearing in mind that Thailand's a Buddhist nation, I was beginning to learn more about the spiritual dimension of human life, and I would suggest that much of the Western world is not only psychologically suffering but spiritually empty. So, what to do about it? We only get one life. There's no dress rehearsals, no dummy runs, no second goes. This is it. This is the one life we're getting. There's no point in getting to our deathbed and then, that's how it works. It's too late then. You've got to do it now, today. So let's look at it in a logical way, and this forms the basis of my own educational work and my own approach to life, everything. There's a problem. Okay. Now, in the Western world, the problem, get something to fix it. Get the pill, get the teacher, get the doctor, get somebody out there to do something to fix my problem. And that's the way. But no, let's forget about that route. Let's look at solutions in this video from now on. So we have a problem. I'm unhappy, I'm lonely, I'm bored. My neighbour's doing this to me. My wife is being nasty to me. My daughter, husband, brother, sister, friend, boss, whatever. Well, forget about them. Let's not blame them. So what's the root cause? That's the thing. Now, there's a million different problems, but in my view, and this is what I'm going to tell you, there's one root cause. And if we can find out this root cause and address the root cause, then we're at the beginning of solutions. Okay? Instead of just reacting to the problem, let's investigate where the problems come from. Now, there's two root causes, both linked. The root cause of all human suffering and problems, I don't mean poverty, that's a different thing, but for the people who've got a home and shelter and food and so on, the cause for all human problems is the sense of separation and disconnect and division and separateness inside our psyche. It's in our, we're not thinking about it, it's in our subconscious mind. I am alone, I am separate to you, I'm separate to the whole planet, I'm separate to everything. I'm cast out alone in this big, brutal, hard world. And this is going on behind our conscious mind. And where did this disconnect and this separation come from? Because it's not natural, and this is the problem. This sense of disconnect is antagonizing and against the law of nature. You know, the planet, you get your food, you get your air, and you get your water from the planet. If I walk down the street and there's lots of people smiling and happy, then it's going to affect me. If I walk down the street and there's people shouting at each other and scowling and unhappy and brawling and so on, it's going to affect me. So we're all interconnected, but we have this feeling inside of us that we're not, that we're disconnected. So that's the problem. So we now know where the solution is. We've got to reconnect. But where does this problem come from? So now we arrive at the root cause. And the root cause is your schooling, the school system. I think most of us get 12 years, and look, this school system's just shocking. It's woeful, it's anti-human, anti-health, anti-life. Is nobody to blame. It's the system that's arisen. The teachers have a bad time, the students have a bad time, the administrators, everybody has a bad time. We're all stuck. And the schooling, so when I'm now in my generation, so when my generation were the children, we were crushed in the schools. And then we become the adults. And now we're the parents, and we're the teachers, and we're the politicians, and now we're the adult world. But we had a crushing, demoralizing, demotivating, dehumanizing, disempowering, disconnecting education or schooling. And that's what we're left with. That's our legacy. And so we then do the same thing to the children in the schools. And then the children today are now receiving this crushing schooling, and then they become the adults, and so it goes on. I call it the intergenerational vicious cycle. But today, because of 2020, we've got a unique opportunity that when we're in a big crisis, there's always an opportunity, and are we going to take it? Well, I am taking it, and I'm now persuading you to take it, and this is how. You could be an adult, you could even be the youth, you could be an adolescent, but you could be an adult and you can have any job, but this applies to you just as an ordinary citizen, as an ordinary adult. But if you are a teacher, a politician, a journalist, an educator, a business leader, a community leader, a guru, a healer, if you're anybody who works for other people and those people look to you for guidance and knowledge and to improve their life, then this is even more important. We as the adults, basically because the schools didn't teach us. We don't know how to learn, or we're very unskilled in learning, and we're unskilled at communicating. We've got poor listening skills, we've got poor speaking skills, we don't read books, not very many people. So our natural innate skills, our communication skills and our ability to learn for ourselves, nothing. Didn't get it at school. In school you sat down for 12 years and you listened to the teacher going on about this and that. And your learning was them telling you and compelling you. And you memorized and complied. So we're all conditioned to seek out external authority because they've got the answers, they've got the knowledge, and they can tell us what to do, because all our innate skills, our innate intelligence, our innate creativity, curiosity, not only not developed, crushed, stopped, stamped on, not allowed. So my message and my venture, I wrote a book called Menu for a Spiritual Revolution, Health, Harmony and Happiness, and I'm now creating Infinity Education, and this is my big learning empire that I'm creating to deliver it online to all adults, all youth, but especially if you happen to be some kind of leader, whether it's in the classroom or in society itself, this is particularly useful for you. But what will happen is, and this is the solution, when you learn how to learn, and when you learn how to listen and express yourself, and in the learning process you develop self-confidence, self-esteem, self-belief, self-worth, you become motivated for life because you're learning important knowledge, you're learning the skills, you can notice that everything's becoming better and you're getting rewards and so on. So the motivation continues. And that's what real learning is. Real learning is motivating so that it self-sustains itself. You will, once you discover the joy of learning, you'll be a lifelong learner. And that allows you to live in harmony with nature, not against it. And all us adults, we were turned against nature by the school system. And if we don't change ourselves, then we're going to damage our children in the same way that we were damaged. Nobody to blame, it's just the system. Doesn't matter why or how that system came about. What matters is that we see the problem and we know the way out, and then we learn our way out. So I'm now creating a blogging wing to my learning empire. I'm going to write lots of blogs on travel stories, the human world and my book world, because I've read tons of books and all my books have taught me so much, and I want to quote a little bit and then talk about it. And then our human world is all the issues, all the learning, all the problems, and let's get rid of suffering, the whole lot. Travel. I've been in Thailand 30 years, I've been to lots of Asian countries, I've travelled all over Thailand, so I've got loads and loads of photos and loads of tales and stories to tell you, all of which carry life lessons. So I've got lots to write about. I'm now practicing and getting used to making videos. I'm already started an A to Z series on healthy foods. I'm going to do an A to Z series on developing yourself. So A to Z. A is self-awareness, self-belief, self-confidence, self-determination, self-development, self-esteem. Then you get G, self-growth, self-healing, self-inquiry, and so it goes on. Z, self-zen. I don't know what Z will be. I'll cross that bridge later. So I'm going to be doing lots of videos, lots of writing, and this will come out and be published, and if you are or if you will be on my email list, I will be communicating with you directly, sending out to you my latest blogs, my latest videos, my latest thoughts on the world, because I do Facebook, but the algorithms, it's like being invited to a party and then told you can't speak to half the guests. It's not working. So if you like the sound of what I'm talking about, if you want to get on board and make more of your life and fulfill your life and become skilled and have self-knowledge, I mean, how does your body work? How does your mind work? All of this I covered in my book. But one of the things I'm going to be doing, the central plank to my learning empire, is creating online learning skills courses. Because I'll tell you, when you learn how to learn, and you find it motivating, everything changes. Now you're in charge of your health, your learning, your life, your destiny. It's that simple. Just learn how to learn. But subconsciously, as adults, oh no, the learning finished when we left school. Learning's for school children. And then, oh yeah, and learning's not much fun at all, is it? I mean, you know, it was boring and stressful, and we just had to do what the teacher said all the time. So we've got a bit of negative baggage about learning. But when you discover the joy of learning, everything changes. And in order to learn, you have to listen and speak and disagree and explore and agree and compromise and clarify and all of these things. So what else? The blogging, the videos, lots of travel photographs I'm going to share with you, and then I'm going to write lots of mini ebooks. So all these mini ebooks they're all going to be enjoyable and entertaining to read, but they're going to be educational, and they're going to be how-to and tips and strategies and so on. Because I've been educating and traveling for 30 years, I've spent thousands and thousands of hours reflecting on everything. So I'm now more than ready to share it back out into the world and let the world do what they want with it. So that's my learning empire. A spiritual revolution that's what you do on your own. You bring your life into harmony and resonance, and you achieve good health and happiness, which is what all humans want. But you have to do it yourself. But my book, for example, and all my work will guide you towards doing that. And then there's infinity education, which is lifelong learning, conscious living, and health and wellness. And this is the wing of my learning empire that will be doing the online learning courses and creating all the how-to, all the specifically educational work. And once I've got my empire up and running, I really want to work with teachers and educators and parents, because then it reaches further and out and further out. All we got to do is change our education, and humanity will be on track. The calamity will be finished. We've got to learn our way out of it. That's what it is. Okay. So watch this space. The final point was that within a week or two, and I'm speaking to you in the early July 2022, so it may already be a thing, but I'm going to create my newsletter, which I'm calling Monday Motivator. And you'll get it first thing Monday morning. And it will have at least one blog, at least one video, 2 or 3 or 4 of my travel photos or my nature photos. I've been to 10 or 11, 12 Asian countries, Australia many times. I've got photo essays from many countries. So you know, you'll get some nice writing, you'll get a video, you'll get some photographs, and then whatever I'm thinking about at that time. So it'll be like my personal Facebook, but it's coming to you directly in your inbox, so we can be communicating together. And then if you ever want to get on board with any of the learning courses, whether it's the live course, and they'll always be restricted to maximum of 18 students, so I can teach you in the same way as I teach in the classroom. So yes, there's going to be all sorts of things, and I'm dedicating myself to this learning empire until at least 2025, and then we'll see what happens next. So theoretically, come on board now with me, and you've got 3 years of journeying with me. If you like my work, you can help me pay for my breakfasts and lunches and dinners by buying my ebooks and getting on the online learning course. But meanwhile, you can enjoy all my blogs and my videos, and hopefully it will make a difference to your life. So, closing out, that's it for now. I don't know how long that's taken. I haven't got any clocks I can't see. So if you're still with me, well done for your attention levels. That means you're going to be a good learner. Because without attention, there's no learning. Oh, I will say one final thing. They say children don't have any attention span. Well, nor do adults. Nobody does. How can you have an attention span if you didn't learn how to learn? See? If you investigate almost every problem, it comes back to the fact that we humans didn't learn how to learn, and we didn't learn how to communicate. These are the 2 skills. It's like mother eagle clipping the wings of baby eagle, and the baby eagle can never fly. It's the same thing. The human schools stop us from flying. They clip our wings. So let's undo that. Unlearn, relearn, and learn. Anyway, wherever you are in the world today, have a good time. Enjoy yourself. Come on board with me and let me help you empower yourself, transform your life, and then you can do that to everybody else. Okay. Bye-bye for now.